All right, let's be honest, postpartum return to run, still a little bit of a gray area, but this 2021 study, one of friends of the podcast, Shefali Christopher et al., looked at some of the biopsychosocial risk factors associated with pain. And what they're trying to do is develop a clinical decision tool to help us as providers help decide when we can get postpartum runners ready to run. So what do they say? First of all, healing comes first. We need to make sure that there's incisions that are healed, C-section, episiotomy. We need things to be fully healed. But we don't have a universal agreement on what that exactly means. But timing varies. So most experts agree to an individualized approach. Generally, people say that before 3 weeks is not a good idea for a majority of people, and more than half of experts recommend waiting until at least 6 weeks. Again, we've got Delphi studies and also the UK guidelines thinking more towards 12. And 20%, again, say to wait until at least 12 weeks postpartum. It can feel frustrating, but here's the good news. That means that we're not being held to an unrealistic standard, which is fantastic. We've got to pay attention to sleep deprivation. We've got to pay attention to high nutrition and physical demands of breastfeeding and recovery, and the increased risk of underfueling due to pressure due to trying to lose the baby weight. So all of those things can increase our potential for bone stress injuries, and we need to consider potential for relative energy deficiency in our lactating athletes. So we need nutritionist, running coach, pelvic floor physical therapist. That's our best case scenario. Sometimes we don't always have that, but we want to make those considerations available. So build walking tolerance first, and progress that intensity up to 45 minutes. Making sure that you've passed your return to run readiness screen, starting to do coordination and strength exercises, and then consider a return to run walk run progression at that 6 to 12 week mark. And again, it doesn't need to be exactly 6 to 12 weeks postpartum. It could be whenever you get started, kind of looking at 6 to 12 weeks from whatever that starting point is, and then a gradual progression to run after that. And if you get off track, not a big deal. Just extend that timeline forward. And if you missed a week because kids are sick and life and grenades and all that stuff, back it up a little bit. And we don't need to pick up where we left off. So your particular postpartum return to run journey is yours. We're just trying to get a little bit better information about how we can potentially look at the person in front of us and get a good predictor on whether we're setting them up for the best situation possible. Tell me your thoughts on this one.